Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome all to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, verse number 115. We will continue from Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhaite Girim Yat Kripatamam Bante Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Verse 115. Tasya Ravinda Naina Nasya Padaravinda Kinjalika Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargatah Swa Vivaranayan Chakar Tesham Shank Shobham Akshara Jusham Api Chitta Tanavo. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of Tulsi, of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, entered through the nostrils into the hearts of those sages like Kumars, they experienced a change in both body and mind. Even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.15.43. Verse 116. Vyasa Kripaya Shukadevera Liladi Smarana Krishna Gunakrishta Hena Karena Bhajana. By the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva, Shukadev Goswami was attracted by the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Being thus attracted by Krishna's transcendental qualities, he also became a devotee and engaged in his service. Verse 117. Harer Guna Kshipta Matir Bhagwan Badaryanihi Adhyagan Mahad Akhyanam Nityam Vishnu Jana Priya. Being very much attracted by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, the mind of Srila Shukadeva Goswami was agitated by Krishna consciousness. He therefore began to study Srimad Bhagavatam by the grace of his father. Purport: this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.11. Verse 118. Nava Yogishwara Janme Haite Sadhaka Jnani Vidhi Shiva Narad Mukhe Krishna Guna Shuni. From their very births, the 9 great mystic yogis, Yogendras, were impersonal philosophers of the absolute truth, but because they heard about Lord Krishna's qualities from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and the great sage Narad, they also became Krishna's devotees. Verse 120. Aklesham Kamalabhuvaha Pravishya Goshtim Kurvantaha Shruti Shirsam Shrutim Shruta Jnana Uttungam Yadupura Sangamaya Rangam Yogindraha Pulaka Prito Navapi Avapu. The 9 Yogendras entered Lord Brahma's association and heard from him the real meaning of the topmost Vedic literatures, the Upanishads. Although the Yogendras were already conversant in Vedic knowledge, they became very jubilant in Krishna consciousness just by listening to Brahma. Thus they wanted to enter Dwarka, the abode of Lord Krishna. In this way they finally achieved the place known as Rangakshetra. Purport: this is quotation from Maha Upanishad. Verse 121. Moksha Kankshi Jnani Haya Teen Prakar Mumukshu Jivan Mukta Prapta Swarup Ar. Those who wish to merge into the impersonal Brahman are also divided into 3 categories: those desiring to be liberated, those already liberated, and those who have realized Brahman. Verse 122. Mumukshu Jagate Anek Samsari Jana Mukti Lagi Bhaktet Kare Krishner Bhajana. There are many people within this material world who desire liberation, and for this purpose they render devotional service to Lord Krishna. Verse 123. Mumukshavo ghora rupan hitva bhuta patin atha narayan kalaha shanta bhajanti hya anusuyavaha. Those who want to be relieved from the material clutches give up the worship of various demigods who have fearful bodily features. Such peaceful devotees who are not envious of the demigods worship the different forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Purport: this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.26. Those who actually want the highest perfection worship Lord Vishnu in his different incarnations. Those who are attracted to the materialistic way of life and who are always agitated and full of anxiety worship demigods who appear fierce. Demigods like God Kali and Kal Bhairav or the Rudra. The devotees of Krishna, however, do not envy the demigods or their worshippers, but peacefully render devotional service to the incarnations of Narayan instead. Verse 124. Sai sabera sadhu sange gunas Sfuraya Krishna bhajan karai mumuksha chadaya. If those who are attached to demigod worship fortunately associate with the devotees, their dormant devotional service and appreciation of the Lord's qualities gradually awaken. In this way, they also engage in Krishna's devotional service and give up the desire for liberation and the desire to merge into the existence of impersonal Brahman. Purport: the four Kumars, the Chatushana, Shukadev Goswami and the 9 Yogendras were absorbed in Brahman realization, and how they became devotees is described herein. There are 3 kinds of impersonalists: the Mumukshu, those desiring liberation; the Jivan Muktas, those liberated in this life; and Prapta Swarups, those merged in Brahman realization. All 3 types of Jnanis are called Mokshakankshis, those desiring liberation. By associating with devotees such people give up the Mumukshu principle and render devotional service. The real cause for this change is the association of devotees. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant to attract all types of men, even those who desire things other than the Lord's devotional service. Through the association of devotees, they gradually begin to render devotional service. Verse 125. Aho Mahatman Bahudosha Dushto Api Ekena Bhati Esha Bhavo Gunena Satsangamakhena Sukha Vahena Kritadya Noyena Krisha Mumuksha. O great learned devotee, although there are many faults in this material world, there is one good opportunity: that association with devotees. Such association brings about great happiness. Due to this quality, our strong desire to achieve liberation by merging into the Brahman effulgence has become weakened. Purport: this is a quotation from the Hari Bhakti Subhodaya. Verse 126. Naradera Sange Shonakadi Muni Gana Mumuksha Chadiya Kaila Krishnera Bhajan. By associating with the great saint Narad, Shonak and other great sages gave up the desire for liberation and engaged in Krishna's devotional service. Verse 126, 27. Krishnera darshane karo Krishnera kripaya mumuksha chadiya gune bhaje tanra pa-ya. Simply by meeting Krishna or receiving Krishna's special favor, one can give up the desire for liberation. Being attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, one can engage in his service. Verse 128. Asmin sukha ghanam murtav param atmani vrishni patane sfurati Ātmārāmatya Ramataya me vritha gatu bata chiram kalaha. In this Dwarka Dham, I am being attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is personified spiritual bliss. Simply by seeing him, I am feeling great happiness. Oh, I have wasted so much time trying to become self-realized through impersonal cultivation. This is a cause for lamentation. Purport. This verse is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.1.34. Verse 129. Jivan Mukta Anek se dui bhed jani bhakte Jivan Mukta Jnane Jivan Mukta Mani. There are many people who are liberated even in this lifetime. Some are liberated by discharging devotional service and others are liberated through the philosophical speculative process. Verse 130. Bhakte Jivan Mukta Guna Krishna Hena Krishna Bhaje Shushka Jnane Jivan Mukta Paradhi Adho Maje. Those who are liberated by devotional service become more and more attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, thus they engage in his service. Those who are liberated by the speculative process eventually fall down again due to offensive activity. Verse 131. Ye anye ravindaksha vimukta maninas tvai asat bhavad avishuddha buddhayah aruhya kricharena param padam tatah patanti adho nadrita yushmad angrayah. O lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life but are without devotional service to you are of impure intelligence, although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position. To impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Verse 132. Brahma bhutah prasannatma na shochati na kakshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and thus becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state of he attains pure devotional service unto me. Purport. This is a quotation from Bhagavad-Gita 18.54. Verse 133. Advaita vithi pathikair upasyah swananda simhasana labdha diksha shathena kenapi vayam hathena dasi krita gopa vadhu vitena. Although I was worshipped by those on the path of monism and initiated into self-realization through the yoga system, I have nonetheless been forcibly turned into a maidservant by some cunning boy who is always joking with the gopis. Purport. This is a verse written by Bilu Mangal Thakur. Verse 134. Bhakti bale prapta swarupa divya deha paya Krishna guna krishta hena bhaje Krishna paya. One who has attained his constitutional position by the strength of devotional service attains a transcendental body even in this lifetime. Being attracted by Lord Krishna's transcendental qualities, he fully engages in service at his lotus feet. Verse 135. Nirodho shanu shayanam atmanah saha shakti bhi muktir hitva netha rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. The living entities and other potencies merge into Mahavishnu as the Lord lies down and winds up, destroys the cosmic manifestation. Liberation means being situated in one's eternal original form after giving up the changeable, gross and subtle bodies. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.10.6. Verse 136. Krishna bahirmukha doshe maya haite bhaya, Krishno mukha bhakti haite maya mukta haya. By opposing Krishna consciousness, one becomes conditioned and fearful due to the influence of Maya. By executing devotional service faithfully, one is liberated from Maya. Verse 137. Bhayam dvitiya bhiniveshtah syad ishad apetstasya viparyayo smritihi तन्माययातो बुध आभजेत तम भक्त्यै कैशम गुरु देवतात्मा. When the living entity is attracted by the material energy which is separate from Krishna, he is overpowered by fear because he is separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the material energy. His conception of life is reversed. In other words, instead of being the eternal servant of Krishna, he becomes Krishna's competitor. This is called viparyayo smriti. To nullify this mistake, one who is actually learned and advanced worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his spiritual master, worshipful deity and source of life. He thus worships the Lord by the process of unalloyed devotional service. Purport: this verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37. Verse 138. Daivi hi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport: this is a quotation from Bhagavad-Gita 7.14. Verse 139. Bhakti vino mukti nahi bhakti mukti haya. One does not attain liberation without rendering devotional service. Liberation is attained only by devotional service. Verse 140. Shreyas sritim bhaktim udasyate vibho klishyanti ye kevala bodha labdhaye tesham asau kleshala eva shishyate nanyad yatha sthula tusha vaghaitanam. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the only auspicious path. If one gives it up simply for speculative knowledge or the understanding that these living beings are spirit souls and the material world is false, he undergoes a great deal of trouble. He only gains troublesome and inauspicious activities. His actions are like beating a husk that is already devoid of rice. His labor becomes fruitless. Purport: this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.4. Verse 141. Ye anye ravindaksha vimukta maninas tvai asad bhavad avishuddha buddhayah aruhya krichrena param padam tatah patanti adho nadrita yushmad angrayaha. O lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life but are without devotional service to you are of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. Purport: this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Verse 142. Ya esham purusham sakshad atma prabhavam ishwaram na bhajante avajananti sthanad bhrashtaha patante adaha. If one simply maintains an official position in the four varnas and ashrams but does not worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he falls down from his puffed up position into hellish condition. Purport: this is also quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.3. Verse 143. Bhakti mukti paileha avashya krishnere bhajaya. When one is actually liberated by executing devotional service, he always engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Verse 144. Mukta api lilya vigraham kritva bhagavantam bhajante. Even a liberated soul merged in the impersonal Brahman effulgence is attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. He thus installs a deity and renders the Lord's service. Purport: this is a quotation from Shankaracharya's commentary on the Nrsimha Tapani Upanishad, verse 145. E chaya Ātmārāma Krishnere bhajaya prithak prithak cha kare iha api ar arthakaya. These 6 kinds of Ātmārāmas engage in the loving service of Krishna. The varieties of service are indicated by adding cha, and they also bear the meaning of api, that is, indeed. Purport: there are 6 kinds of Ātmārāmas. The neophyte student, sadhak, one who is absorbed in Brahman realization, Brahmamaya, one who has already attained the Brahman position, Prapta Brahmalaya, and one who desires to be liberated, Mumukshu, one who is liberated even in this life, Jivan Mukta, and one who is self-realized, Prapta Swarup. Verse 146. Ātmārāmascha api kare Krishna ahetuki bhakti munayah santah iti Krishna manane asakti. The 6 kinds of Ātmārāmas render devotional service to Krishna without ulterior motives. The words munayah and santah indicate those who are very much attached to meditating upon Krishna. Verse 147. Nirgranthaha avidyahina keha vidhihina yahan ye yukta se arthera adhina. The word nirgrantha means without ignorance and devoid of rules and regulations. Whichever meanings fits may be applied. Verse 148. Cha shabde kari yadi etaretara artha ar ek artha kahe param samartha. The use of the word cha in different places produces different meanings. Over and above them there is another meaning that is very important. Verse 149. Ātmārāmascha kari bar chaya panch Ātmārāma chaya chakare luptahaya. Although the words Ātmārāmascha would be repeated 6 times, simply by adding the word cha, 5 Ātmārāmas are deleted. Verse 150. Ek Ātmārāma shabdav avashesh rahe, ek Ātmārāma shabde chai jana kahe. Therefore, there is no need to repeat the word Ātmārāma. One is sufficient, and that one word indicates 6 persons. Verse 151. Sarupanam ekashesha ek vibhaktau uktarthanam aprayogah ramascha 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 rama itivat. Of words giving the same form and case determination, the last one is the only one retained. For example, the word Rama is used to stand for Ramascha, 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 etc. Purport: this is a quotation from Panini Sutras 1.2.64. Verse 152. Tabe ye chakar se samuchya kaya Ātmārāmascha munayascha krishnere bhajaya. By the aggregate use of the word cha, it is indicated that all the Ātmārāmas and saints serve the worship Krishna. Verse 153. Nirgrantha api ra e api sambhavane e saat artha prathame karilun vyakhyane. Api added to the word nirgrantha is used for exposition. Thus, I have tried to clarify 7 meanings of the Ātmārāma verse. Verse 154. Antaryami upasak antarama kaya se Ātmārāma yogira dui bhedhaya. The yogi who worships the super soul within himself is also called Ātmārāma. There are 2 types of Ātmārāma yogis. Verse 155. Sagarbha Nigarbha Haya Dui Bheda Ek Ek Teen Bhede Chai Vibheda. The two types of Ātmārāma yogis are called Sagarbha and Nigarbha. Each of these is divided into three. Therefore, there are 6 types of worshippers of the Supersoul. The word Sagarbha Yogi refers to a yogi who worships the Supersoul in the Vishnu form. The Nigarbha Yogi worships the Supersoul without form. The Sagarbha and Nigarbha yogis are further categorized into Sagarbha Yoga Rukshu. Then there is Nigarbha Yoga Rukshu. The third one is Sagarbha Yoga Rudha. Fourth is Nigarbha Yoga Rudha. Fifth is Sagarbha Prapta Siddhi. And sixth is Nigarbha Prapta Siddhi. Verse 156. Kechit Swadhyahantar Hridaya Vakashe Pradesh Matram Purusham Vasantam Chaturbhujam Kanja Rathang Shankha Gada Dharam Dharanya Smaranti. Some yogis think of the Lord within their hearts as measuring about 6 inches. The Lord has 4 hands in which he holds a conch shell, club, disc and lotus flower. Those who worship this form of Vishnu within the heart are called Sagarbha Yogi. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.8. Verse 157. Bhaktya Dravad Dridaya Utpulaka Pramodat Utkantaya Bashap Kalaya Muhur Ardhyamanas Tachapi Chitta Badisham Sanakair Vyukte. When one is in ecstatic love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's heart is melted by Bhakti Yoga and one feels transcendental bliss. There are bodily symptoms manifest, and due to eagerness there are tears in the eyes. Thus one is subjected to spiritual bliss. When the heart is overly afflicted, the meditative mind, like a flashing book, is gradually separated from the object of meditation. Purport: this is also a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.34. Okay, we'll continue reading from verse number 158 next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.